The One Piece manga is back again this week with chapter 1182, titled Zaza, which I could use some Zaza right about now, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, we cut back right where we left off last week with Loki versus Emu, where Emu has blocked Loki's last attack and is now either smaller or it's a scaling inconsistency, which is likely because Radatoskr in the panel right before this one was much smaller compared to Loki. So maybe this is intentional, maybe he can control his actual max size, or maybe not. We'll have to see about that. We get a closer look at Emu, him talking to Loki, calling him a traitor apparently. So it appears they were friends in a previous incarnation over the Void Century. And the Nidhogg betrayed Emu, and him calling out Ragnir specifically, so they must have been really close, all three of them. Joy Boy, Emu, and the previous Nidhogg, presumably named Ilbaf. They were all friends, and then from Emu's point of view, they appear to have betrayed him, but we'll have to see about that. But Emu's talking to Ragnir seems to have triggered him to shoot ice beams out of his hand on some Frozone, and Loki doing a combo attack, swarming Emu, but he dodges by flying up and literally raining down hellfire on them, with the battle seeming to go on off in the distance. We cut to Bonnie and Lilith, them watching this battle unfold right before their eyes, wondering who Emu is. While Sanji is still unconscious, Lilith comes to the conclusion that the world government, with 800 years of history, they must have spawned a shadow demon, with her probably theorizing that this is the ruler of the five elders, which she'll be correct if she assumes so. Then Sanji wakes up, remembering what happened after Emu knocked him down with that explosive kick, thinking back to Killingham, taunting him, and telling him that he'll continue his original mission of stealing the Elbathian kids, but I'm gonna call out Killingham right here. Sanji is literally helpless in front of him. He could have so easily killed him right here and now. He has literally zero reason to leave Sanji alive. He's an adversary. He tied him up and tortured him just a few chapters ago, with Killingham specifically calling out that he'll take revenge on Sanji, but now that he's vulnerable on the ground with no way to defend himself, he's just gonna taunt him a little and just leave. I'm gonna have to subtract some points from the overall Elbaf arc just because of this moment right here, because it literally makes no sense. Why doesn't he exert the minimal effort required to finish off Sanji literally right here, right now? Anyways, that aside, he flies off and Sanji takes chase, with him activating his Germa powers, declaring that protecting Elbaf is his personal duty, which, okay, whatever, man. I know what you are. We cut back to the Owl Library with apparently a back door leading underground, where Bilbo has, as we all assumed, saved all the books from being burned down, with Robin being thankful and Saul being a little suspicious of Bilbo's origin and intentions. And then we cut again to near Western Village, Sea Cloud Port. Summers has brought a whole Elbathian ship and dropped it to receive the children, which he is expecting to have in 5 minutes, declaring himself not just your average Summers anymore, he's a super Summers, which is kinda hilarious. Then we cut again to the Western Village Tavern, where Chopper was taking care of the wounded parents and the children from when they were pierced by Summer's thorns, and the Gerd, who had the tips of her fingers cut off by Emu. All in all, the giants do, in fact, seem in high spirits even after everything that went down, with Road getting some recognition from his peers. Then we cut again to Zoro's group, where he's sitting on top of Goldberg's shoulder, claiming that it would take too long without a giant's long strides, which I'm gonna have to call out the cap right there. Come on, Zoro. We know exactly why you're doing this. You're doing it not because the giant is faster than you are. It's because you yourself know that you'll 100% get lost on the way. So stop trying to aura farm on the man's shoulders, okay? We know what you are. They keep talking on the way, and Zoro telling Goldberg that they're gonna protect their country because they're Luffy's friends, and Luffy consider his friends' countries as his own, which, true. And then we see Zoro pondering about Imu's attack from earlier, how he shot some bullets that exploded on impact, and how the God Knights have seemingly powered up since Imu's arrival. Then we cut to Western Village Port. Killingham is panicking, telling Summers that he accidentally summoned what he is most scared of, with Summers scolding him and telling him that he should be able to control it since it's a dream demon. And in this panel, Summers doesn't seem to have his Omen circle on his back, funnily enough, calling himself Super Summers just a few pages earlier. Then asking about Gunko, with Killingham saying that she apparently has died, which this is One Piece. And as we all know, if someone is not dead on screen, then they're not dead. But we'll have to wait and see. Then Summers confirms that Imu, in fact, cannot stay outside of Marie-Joie for long or he'll burn out, apparently. So they do need to finish this off in the 5-minute time that he set. And finally, in the last part of the chapter, we cut to Killingham deploying his personal demons, you could say, on the Elbathian people and stealing the children, explaining that since they live on top of the red line above clouds, they don't get naturally occurring rain, and the thought of it terrifies them, as well as the D-Clan and Nika. And the name of the monster they fear is the rain god Zaza, apparently, which we get a good look at in the final page of the chapter, which a creature made out of water, which we can clearly see it seems to be a lady made out of water, and we can all guess how that can be overpowered in a world where devil fruits exist. So the stakes have unironically never been higher in Elbaf. The Straw Hats and the Giants are definitely on the back foot, with Loki and Imu's exchange seeming to be somewhat on equal footing, at this point at least, until Luffy recharges. Zoro and Sanji are heavily damaged, and most of the Giants are either fighting their corrupted friends or monsters which they can't defend themselves against. So at this point, the stakes are definitely higher. And finally, we see that Zoro and Sanji are crossing paths, pumping each other up, telling each other not to screw up, with a break next week. This chapter, as I said earlier, has worked pretty tremendously in setting the stakes, but also it has that one major flaw where Killingham could have easily killed Sanji and got rid of him in like a second, but he didn't. And I'm 100% gonna hold the chapter and Oda responsible for that. But overall, I'm pretty excited for next chapter, and I'll see you then. Bye!